Trap more gang. It has been a minute, man. I haven't uploaded on this channel in a little while, and look, I've been busy. All right, I've been busy. I've been grinding. I hadn't uploaded on the main channel in like a good, what is it, 2 months, month and a half. It's been a while, but I'm back, and I'll tell you what, I'm back with a vengeance. Okay, there's been a lot going on. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes. There's been a lot going on in front of the scenes. I've been making a bit of a scene, if I'm quite honest with you. So we're going to get into it. We're going to be talking about everything that's been going on. But of course, as you may or may not know, I recently uploaded another one, as DJ Khaled would say, another banger video, The Deadly War Behind Central Cee. Now, I'll keep it real with you, okay? I swear the UK is a cursed island. Whenever I do a UK video, it always seems to come with a heavy, heavy dose of BS, okay? And this time is no exception, okay? But this one is actually quite interesting, right? This one is quite interesting. So look, I'll just give you the background, all right? I'll give you the breakdown. I'll give you the history, okay? So look, all right? I've wanted to do a video on Central Cee for quite some time, okay? It's been a while. He recently released his debut album, all right? Can't Rush Greatness. And it was, I'll keep it real with you. It was an excellent project, all right? It was an excellent project. Okay, you may have seen it going around. You may have seen people talking about it. You may know what's been going on, all right? Let's show the people, all right? Let's show the people, all right? Can't Rush Greatness, all right? The debut, the debut album by a Mr. One Central Cee. This, in my opinion, is one of the greatest UK hip hop albums, UK rap albums, UK drill albums, whatever you want to call it. It's definitely up there with the greats. It's going to be in the history books. It is absolutely excellent. And as somebody that's a big fan of Central Cee, I've been itching to do a video about your boy Cench for quite some time. Okay, I've been mulling this over for years, literally years. It's been a hell of a journey. But I finally got around to actually creating this video, and I decided, you know what? Let me do the album. Let me let the album drop, let it marinate a little bit, and you know, give my thoughts on it, give you the deep, dark, demonic backstory of Central Cee and his gang and the streets, because that's what I'm known for, realistically. Like, you know, it's no secret, it's no surprise. All right, I do videos about gangster rappers. Now, some people, as we'll get to soon, some people seem to have it in their head that certain types of people, or no people at all, should be able to talk about gangster rappers. Nobody should be able to analyze the life, the backstory, the musings, the statements of gangster rappers. No, some people, some very ignorant and simple people, seem to have it in their head that, you know, rappers are allowed to just kill people or, you know, commit crimes, perpetuate crimes, promote violence, and have absolutely no repercussions or consequences and oversight. People think I shouldn't even be able to talk. You shouldn't even be able to look at the lyrics. You shouldn't even be able to decode and ask yourself, hang on, what do these lyrics on this song mean? No, you should just shut up, take my money, like have your money extracted from you in the form of streams and subscription revenues. Shut the hell up and move along. Well, no, sir. This is my job as a hip-hop journalist. Yes, hip-hop journalist. To break down the dark, demonic, and sometimes true backstories behind your favorite gangster rappers, your favorite drill rappers, etc. Okay, and this video was no exception. The video itself is called The Deadly Gang War Behind Central Cee. Okay, there's a deadly gang war behind Central Cee. That's not cap. Okay, that's not cap. There is a deadly gang war behind Central Cee's career, involving Central Cee and some other individuals from different parts of wild West London, and it is what it is, all right? And you know, frankly, I absolutely have the right to talk about that. Okay, so interestingly, a lot of people have been giving their thoughts on the video and the content contained within it, as well as a, you know, very appreciated dose of praise for my hard work putting this video together as a hip-hop journalist. So, you know, let's just take a look at what some people said, man. People saying, I don't know why, but gang war and Central Cee just don't sound right together in a sentence. Laughing face. You know what I'm saying? This guy's kind of summed it up for everybody, okay? So, in a nutshell, he's actually from the hood. Facts. He dabbled a little bit in the streets, but nothing serious. Facts. He's not an industry plant, but more so was exploited by someone who had the money to push him. Now, that's interesting. Would I say that's facts? That's certainly a subjective opinion that's up for debate. I can't deny nor prove that one. And he decided to claim his neighborhood to fit his new image. Pretty much a 6'9" that doesn't get in trouble. Now, that's a very, very interesting analysis. And you know what I'm saying? I kind of appreciate it. People saying, funny how half of this doc is about Digga in order for it to have any relation to the gang war. Now, if you haven't already watched this video, this is a video about the deadly gang war behind Central Cee. But the reality is, right, Central Cee isn't really the biggest gangster in West London. I'm sorry to break it to you kids, all right? It's Central Cee. He's not Pablo Escobar. All right. He's not King Von. He's none of those things. He's 6'9" at a push. But Digga D, West London's most dangerous teenager, as I've dubbed him in this project, Digga D is actually the real thing. Okay, he's a real gangster, a real shooter. He's literally shot people in the face. I'm not condoning that. I'm not saying that that's a good thing. But what I am saying is that he has been through the genuine street situations and trauma that qualify him to make quote-unquote gangster rap, UK drill, whatever you want to call it. All right, it's legit. He's really lived it. He's really done it. Central Cee, less so. Sold a bit of drugs. I mean, you know, polluting your community with drugs, not necessarily the most virtuous thing to do, but I got to respect it. Sometimes you got to feed your family. Sometimes you got to go at it in these streets and get bread by any means necessary. You got to take risks and prosper. All right, but Central Cee was not gangbanging, okay? He co-opted an infamous gang in West London after he got famous. He grew up with a few people that were maybe involved like that, but after music kind of wasn't really working out for him, he claimed the gang affiliations extremely hard. He went hard on the gang lifestyle, and it worked for him, just like 6ix9ine. It worked for him. When 6ix9ine started wearing the blood bandana and claiming Billy, everything just came together so perfectly, and that's no disrespect. That's just a fact. That's just what happened, okay? So that is what it is, right? And that really is the crux of the video. The video itself has quite a heavy dose of Central Cee glazing in it as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? The last chapter of this video, as you'll see here, is called the UK GOAT, right? I'm saying that Central Cee is the UK's greatest of all-time rapper. Now, that's glazing, if I'm quite honest with you. I might need to go and put my knee pads on for this one. But the fact is, I'm literally saying in this video, I'm concluding this whole 3-hour thesis by saying that Central Cee, through his hard work and efforts, arguably has become the greatest of all time in UK rap, UK drill, whatever you want to call it, all right? So let's just have a little taste of what I said. And later, Cench confirmed the album cover and release date on social media, with the cover showcasing a legendary chain designed by leading London ice makers A Jewelers. On the 24th of January 2025, Central Cee finally cemented his place in the history books of UK rap, releasing his debut album, Can't Rush Greatness. The project truly lived up to its name. 11 years in the making, Cench certainly didn't rush, but he certainly did deliver greatness. This project, in my opinion, is probably the best UK rap album that's ever been released. And that's not just me glazing Central Cee, but the mission for this project was clearly to create a rap album that was quintessentially British and stayed true to Cench's identity. Something that perfectly encapsulated British rap culture in 2025, packaged up in a way that would appeal to fans all over the world, especially in America. The album was a masterclass that saw Cee planting the flag and creating something that no British rapper had ever done before. A rap album that would cut through the cultural barrier and give the country something to be proud of and get behind. And from the first song... So look, I bigged up the album. I said that Central Cee is one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT. I loved the album. I thought it was great. I'm a big fan of Central Cee. But at the end of the day, he got here off the back of claiming street activity, talking about the gang lifestyle in West London, talking about his little bro's got the poker tucked, we get guns from up north. You know what I'm saying? If the ops come through, you better use that index. Talking about rolling with flickies hella times, all right? So this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody, right? And I worked very hard on this. It's not like I just pulled this information out of my behind, all right? I did quite a lot of hard research on this as a hip-hop journalist, as the UK's leading hip-hop journalist, if you want to go that far. But, you know, and I really appreciate it when people actually, you know, kind of appreciate and support and kind of look out for the things that I kind of say. And the hard work that goes into these videos. Like, check out this comment. I don't think people understand the depth of making a 3 to 4 hour video. It isn't 3 to 4 hours of research. It's hundreds of hours of research, listing out everything in a chronological way and figuring out how to put it all together in a story form. After that, it's writing a legitimate movie script. Dude has to be downing an absurd amount of XR. We love you, Ross. I appreciate that, okay? I appreciate that, broski. That means a lot to me, man. And it's true, you know, we worked super hard. This is months of my own time. I wouldn't be able to do this if I wasn't a fan of Cench. If I wasn't a fan of Digga D, if I wasn't a fan of the West London rap scene, it simply would not be possible. Okay, so I really appreciate that. And I would say the majority of the comments on my video are extremely positive, really supportive, really grateful for what I'm doing for the UK scene. However, a lot of people didn't feel that way, man. I've been hearing from a lot of people, Cench's team's very upset with this video. And honestly, I don't know why, because I'm not saying anything that's not been said before. I didn't make up the whole comparing him to 6ix9ine thing. That's something that has been touted around on Reddit threads on r/UK drill for quite some time, for several years. The debate about Central Cee's authenticity: did he really sell drugs? Was he really a gangster? Did he really actually have involvement with some of these gang members that he kind of claimed and rolled around with at the later stages of his career? These conversations have been going on for a long time, but for some reason, maybe it's the timing, because everybody's on an absolute Central Cee glazing fest at the moment with his album coming out, people have really taken this to heart. Now, I just want to talk about what went down behind the scenes, and just like one particular bit of hate that I got relating to this video that I just thought was really uncalled for and just not true, not accurate, not fair. So, look, people are very upset, and I think the real thing people are upset about is this one thing, all right? So I'm going to give you a little insight, okay? So I made this post on Instagram. This was a little post and delete. It was always planned to be a post and delete. This was a little promo. I thought I'd chuck this up. I'll chuck this up for the day of the release, just for a bit of fun, to amuse myself. This is a artificial intelligence generated photograph. It's not a real photograph. I know some people might look at it and think that must be real. Must be. But no, this is an AI picture of Central Cee with 6ix9ine's face tattoos surrounded by London goons, UK drillers, right? And I've left the caption, "What's your definition of real?" as a reference to the song Must Be on the album. Excellent song, excellent album, okay? Look at this picture. That is funny. I don't care what anyone has to say. That is funny. It's funny, all right? I made that picture. I got on Grok. Shout out to Grok. Shout out Elon Musk, even though he's doing all sorts of weird stuff at the moment. And I just thought, oh, can you make... Yo, Grok. Can you make me a picture of Central Cee with 6ix9ine's tattoos and his hair surrounded by goons? And tell you what, it delivered, all right? I shout out to Grok, all right? Because ChatGPT would probably be too shook of the 12 anti-goons to generate me such a picture. So I got this picture. I just thought I'd give it a go. The picture came out hilarious, and I thought, let me slap that up on Instagram, get a little conversation started, right? And tell you what, the conversation did really pop off. Now, I had some people saying, you know, Central Cee's the biggest fraud in rap. Some people saying, you would never say this to his face, all of that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, I just think this picture is really funny. But there was one individual in the wings of this little back and forth that was just extremely upset and extremely angry about what I had said. And this one I just thought was really interesting, because I thought it really exposed like a very broken and corrupt mindset when it comes to kind of hip-hop music, gangster rap journalism. That's very wrong, and it's something that I deal with a lot. You know, it's a level of discrimination that I've dealt with over my career that I just think is really unfair and just quite ugly, to be honest with you. So I received a pretty spicy comment from a lady, actually, a lady, funnily enough, by the name of Shawnee Caballero. Now, this person, interestingly, is the senior A&R manager at Sony Music UK Publishing. This is an executive. This is like a high-flying businesswoman, apparently, who is, you know, is a professional senior A&R. I believe she claims on her Instagram, which I'm now duly blocked from, even though I didn't share any kind of direct messages with her. She's a senior A&R. She founded her own agency, and she's even written a book called A Quick Guide to Music Royalties. And I believe this individual actually claims credit for signing Central Cee. So there's a couple of articles that have been written about her, saying that she signed Central Cee to Sony Music Publishing. This is the person responsible for signing Central Cee. This is somebody that's involved in the kind of profiting and the monetizing of all the little things that Central Cee likes to say, that he likes to do, the image that he likes to push, which is quite interesting, okay? So she left me a comment underneath my hilarious 6ix9ine post, and it said, "You and all you other nerdy white boys with a weird fetish of black people and gang culture make me sick." Now, I thought this was really interesting, because initially I thought, nerdy white boy with a weird fetish of black people and gang culture. I said, are you talking about Cench? Because I was like, maybe she's talking about Central Cee, like a nerdy white boy with a weird fetish of black people and gang culture. I thought, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She could well be talking about Central Cee as somebody that's put gang culture at the very center of his music and was having basically zero success until he begun to make gang culture the central, excuse the pun, part of his music and his artistic direction. Apparently I was incorrect. Apparently I was misinformed. She said, no, I'm talking about you nerdy freak. Now, devolving into very personal attacks like this, I just thought was not very becoming of, you know, somebody that is supposed to be like an executive, a senior A&R manager at Sony Music Pub. Now, look, I get threats from gangsters and gang members all the bloody time. All right, I'm no stranger to that, okay? But for me, I was just like, I can't believe this is actually a professional person. This is actually a person that has like an office job. She's got a desk some place in the Sony offices, probably wears like a suit, maybe a tie, a little like pencil skirt or something to the office on a professional tip. But she's out here spewing angry, racially motivated attacks on journalists. It was quite baffling, quite confusing. So she said, I'm talking about you, you nerdy freak. Now, she was on hots, basically, as we would probably say in Bronx drill terms, right? She was on hots coming for me. So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to have that. I disagree with that, and I'm going to clap back. I hit back and I said, none of that energy for the guy getting rich off convincing kids that gangbanging and carrying knives and guns is cool in his music, but all the smoke for a journalist talking about it makes sense. Now, I'm not somebody that would ever put down gangster rap artists, you know, artists that are telling their story, you know, and I think that the most forgiving thing when it comes to gangster rap and drill music is the fact that you've got real guys, or women in some cases, going through real street situations, coming out of real poverty, coming out of real inequality, really difficult circumstances, and unfortunately being placed in violent situations. Sometimes that's kill or be killed, sometimes that's shoot or be shot, stab or be stabbed, and you have to have a certain degree of sympathy, especially when it comes to the socio-economic conditions that sometimes leads people to the life of crime. Some people don't even necessarily have a choice. Some people are born into that life. Some people are sucked into it by circumstance. So you always got to have a, you know, as a journalist, as a sympathetic and leading journalist, you have to kind of appreciate the nuance of this. And really, I see drill music and gangster rap really as an outlet for kind of, you know, downtrodden individuals of any race, really, coming out of a really difficult environment and living a difficult life, to kind of redeem themselves and find a route out of that lifestyle, you know, get out of the trap that Central Cee likes to rap about, get out of the tit-for-tat gang wars that consume so many people and lead to so much death and destruction. I think that it's really important for those individuals that have lived that life to be able to tell those stories and, you know, monetize their stories, monetize the situations that they've been through, talk about the things that have happened to them, express their pain, express their feelings, and use that music as an outlet, as a therapy to better their situation. I think that's something that's really important. The interesting thing about this is arguably you could say that Central Cee is one of those people who didn't necessarily live the life to that extent, certainly not the extent that he raps about it, but has certainly monetized it more than all of the people, you know, people like Digga D, who have actually lived that lifestyle and are dealing with the trauma and the baggage of actually coming from those situations, being in those circumstances, being placed in kill or be killed situations, which I'm sure are very traumatic, where you're actually being forced to make a decision with the hand that you're dealt that maybe you don't want to make. Central Cee is not really somebody that is in that position, and I argue in the video that that's actually possibly what's allowed him to get so far in his career. You know, that's why Central Cee is, you know, laughing it up with a $25 million record deal, traveling around the world, having #1 albums, and Digga D is languishing in jail, not because he's an idiot, but because he's so been sucked into the streets genuinely, authentically, from such a young age that it's so hard to break out of that cycle, especially when you're dealing with mountains of trauma, you know, groups of people that drag you in and peer pressure you into a lifestyle that maybe you don't want to live anymore. So I just think these are all really important things to express. And, you know, when I clapped back to Shawnee, you know, that's something that I wanted to just kind of condense into quite a simple comment. And this nuance, unfortunately, was completely lost on her. Her response to this devolved into what I would call childish playground level attacks. She said, "You're not a journalist." What? Apparently, I'm not a journalist. I'm a weirdo. And all the people like you, and all of the people on the internet like you. What kind of people are you talking about? I mean, if I was going to refer back to your first comment, you know, I would either discern you're talking about, you know, nerdy white boys. I mean, maybe you have something against people that wear glasses. Maybe you've got something against another group of people. But a weird fetish of black people, I don't really understand that, because I made a video about Central Cee, who's actually not, you know, I'm sorry to make it about this, but Central Cee, as we learn in the video, Central Cee is not black. And that's fine. That's completely fine. I'm not a racist. So I don't judge people, you know, based on the color of their skin. I judge people based on the content of their character. You know, as I'm sure you're aware, is a very infamous statement by the great Martin Luther King. But I judge people based on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And the content of Central Cee's character is that, you know, he was a drug dealer and maybe not necessarily as a gangster to the extent that his music would have you believe. He's not black, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But, you know, it seems that in Shawnee's eyes, you know, being a white boy with glasses, having a weird fetish of black people and gang culture makes me sick. I'm sick. And, you know, disgusting, as she said. You know, it's just painting me as this disgusting, horrible. I make her sick. I make her want to vomit. And I just thought that was just not only incredibly unfair, but incredibly disingenuous coming from somebody that's actually working in the industry to monetize the actual gang wars, the comments about gang violence on behalf of somebody that actually hasn't necessarily gone through those experiences, hasn't actually lived those experiences. And as somebody that doesn't necessarily just judge people based on the color of their skin, whether he's black, white, Asian, Chinese, Guyanese, an alien come from the planet Mars, I don't give a shit. I just really care about the content of his character, the content of his music and what he's pushing. And I'm also somebody that doesn't really judge people's music, you know, just because they're pushing gang violence. But for some reason, this white boy with glasses and, you know, occasional bow tie wearing nerdy freak, as she would claim. I mean, I'm certainly a freak in the sheets, but I don't know if that's what she's quite referring to. Apparently, I'm the problem. Okay, she's not the problem. Cench isn't the problem. Digga D's not the problem. No, well, apparently I'm not even a journalist. I'm the problem. I'm an issue. You're an A&R at a record label, right? A&R. I mean, if you want to say I'm not a journalist, what's an A&R, right? You're a professional coattail rider. You find people that are actually talented and have actually, well, whether or not they've even been through the real street gang lifestyle that, you know, the music industry is so desperate to hear from these days. Your story, your role in the industry is a blood-sucking leech to basically find people that have actually potentially been through that scenario or not, people that just lie about it and just want to make it up and build a persona around living a lifestyle that real actual people are suffering trauma from having lived, and to make money out of it and to do commerce and to do business off the back of it. And, you know, I just think it's really disingenuous and wrong. I dealt with this when I had the King Von video and I had, you know, I had A&R's, AKA coattail riding, blood-sucking leeches who don't actually provide any creative value to the market, coming at me, telling me that I was wrong for exposing King Von for allegedly having murdered 7 people and made millions of dollars off of not just rapping about it, but mocking the victims, making fun of them, and continuing to plan murders. And for some reason, there's so much cognitive dissonance in this space that people are actually convinced that I'm the problem, and they're convinced that this guy that's killing people, or in the case of Central Cee, this guy that has taken a persona that he never actually lived, a persona of, let's keep it real, you know, not even necessarily always, but at least in Digga D's case, you know, black trauma, being born into circumstances of poverty and a cycle of violence that you can't escape and you never chose, stealing that persona, putting it on as a facade, making money off of it, and then having these leeches come around like Shawnee to prop them up and do commerce and squeeze money out of it, squeeze deals out of it, and commodify gang violence, commercialize gang violence in a way that isn't actually necessarily helpful. I love Central Cee's music, but is his music actually promoting and glorifying the gang violence, or is it making things better? I don't see too much responsibility in Central Cee's music. I don't really see that kind of thing. I don't really get any sense of kind of responsibility or him kind of talking about the consequences and the traumas and the negativity that comes with it, because he's not dealing with that. Look, I appreciate that he's got friends that have passed away, a friend that passed away due to street violence, and that's certainly traumatic, and I don't want to take away from that, and I explore that very much in the video. And I actually argue against the detractors who say, oh, he never even really knew him like that, to say that that's his real lived experience and that's his trauma. But at the end of the day, what you guys are doing is you're commodifying and you're commercializing this gang trauma just for money and not living it, not really trying to push these genuine voices. You're actually trying to suppress the real authentic voices of people that have actually lived this experience and actually have something genuine to say about it, and boosting up an inauthentic voice, a caricature of what people have really gone through. I think it's extremely disingenuous, and I think that it's quite embarrassing that somebody that's supposedly like a professional executive in the industry to be acting like this. And I think it's just funny for me to kind of see somebody just get so rabid, foaming at the mouth, like goddamn, you know, like a just angry at me for just doing my job as a journalist. And I am a journalist. I'm actually actually the leading journalist in the UK hip hop scene. Actually, I would say I don't think there is anybody that's really doing what I'm doing. You know, for you to see a 3-hour video breaking this down and you know, going after me for not being genuine, for not being a real journalist. I made a 3-hour deep dive. I implore you to find anybody that's done a dive as deep as I have done on Central Cee. You're not gonna find it. It's not gonna happen because it doesn't exist. Because I really am the #1 leading journalist in this space doing what I do. Nobody would have gone to the effort to spend 2 months of their time digging deep into Central Cee's backstory if they weren't a good and dedicated journalist. So I see her putting up, you know, the video of Tay Savage pressing me on Twitter. You know, Tay Savage is my homie. You literally don't have any idea what you're talking about. You know, you probably should have gone and checked out me and Tay Savage kicking it at Six Flags. You know, we're sharing the toxic waste and hanging out. You don't actually know what's going on behind the scenes. You know, people that want to put me down and act like, yeah, you're this horrible, obsessed freak. Like, bro, people actually fuck with me. Real gangsters fuck with me, bro. Like, real gangsters actually rate what I'm doing. The Americans, they understand that this kind of thing's promo, and you guys should actually be thanking me for creating a 3-hour press piece of promo that is actually glowing and positive about your artist. I don't think that you would be so angry at me on a level talking about, you know, weird fetish of black people and gang culture if you actually didn't feel a little bit like that yourself. You know, I feel like sometimes, you know, you see it a lot. People kind of go at other people and really they're kind of revealing their own insecurities. And I wonder, you know, I wonder whether there's a little bit of kind of insecurity and regret over this negative gang culture that apparently is just so disgusting and makes you sick, even though you're the one promoting it. So that's probably something that's eating her up inside and something that she's really struggling to accept and process that she's become a part of. And I think this video probably highlighted that. You know, probably don't want to confront the fact that Central Cee has gotten rich off of a gang persona. You know, the music, the success, the career was not hitting when Central Cee, when it was nose ring and ponytail days. These days, no one was trying to hear it. Nobody cared at all. It wasn't until nobody cared, right? No one was checking for this guy. Nobody cared until the gang stuff started, until it was time for the Nike Tech tracksuit, in time for the young bulls holding shanks, time for all the little comments about bro's got the poker tucked, he's got the whole gang surrounding him, all of that stuff. Nobody cared until then. And what you guys are doing is you're a giant record label machine perpetuating these same stereotypes that you yourself falsely claim to not like. Meanwhile, I'm over here doing genuinely good journalism, you know, and just really trying to get to the heart of what's really going on. And you guys are really in the business of just trying to suppress what's going on, trying to put people down based on their race, not on the merit of their character or their work. Just for the record, you know, I would say just go and check out the video. You know, I feel like this sort of thing always backfires. You know, this is out there for the history books now. People are going to know Central Cee's persona. And as I say at the end of this video, you know, I'm a massive fan of Central Cee. I gave the album a 10 out of 10. I think he's an amazing artist. It's maximum artistry, minimum authenticity. And I'm sorry that you guys don't like to hear the truth, but that is the truth of it. That's the truth of the matter. And that's the situation that's happened. And, you know, I think certain people need to take a long, hard look into the mirror and actually just, you know, remember what it is that actually got them rich. Remember the situations they were in before the Nike Tech tracksuits and the poker tucked and, you know, the tattoo of the name of the gang on your arm, the anti-tattoo, the bigging up all the gang members, dissing people, telling people to put down their flags because they're not a Crip. And just remember what was going on before that. Meanwhile, Central Cee's ironically kind of become the face of the industry. I mean, how gangster is it to have an A&R from your record label fighting your battles on your behalf? I mean, that's your idea of sliding, I suppose? I mean, that's sliding in this day and age. I don't know. But, you know, I'm truly independent. I know that Central Cee kind of wanted to claim that independent streak for as long as he possibly could for his image. But I am truly independent. You know, I say whatever I want. I know that a lot of people have been too scared to even talk about this documentary in the UK rap scene. People glaze Central Cee day in, day out. But they're too scared to even talk about the content of this documentary. I suppose this is dangerous and harmful to his image, and all of the Central Cee glazers that are really propping this guy up are just scared to even confront that. But I'm completely independent. I'll say whatever I want, whenever I want, about whoever I want, and I'm not scared. Like, I'm not actually scared of any of these guys. Not scared of the label. Not scared of anybody. I'll say exactly what I want. And that's why people like me. That's why people like my channel, because they come to me for the truth. They don't come to me for a watered down, embellished, made up. You know, I could have made Central Cee look like the biggest gangster in the world if I wanted to. There's enough there to paint that picture if I want to be disingenuous about it. But I'm not going to do that because I keeps it real. what I do is authentic. And if you want to make fun of me for being a nerd, I don't pretend I'm anything I'm not. I could throw on a trap star, get a little face tat, have a little Amazon shank tucked into my waistband, but that's not who I am because I'm authentic to who I really am. I'm a nerd with glasses. My eyesight's awful. I have a weird haircut. My straight hair doesn't really sit the way that maybe, you know, the skin fade having cool dudes around town with the Night Tech tracksuits might want to have. But I'm me, and I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable in my own skin, and yeah, that's kind of it. So you know, gonna have a very big video coming on a very big American rapper very soon. Got a very interesting true crime story coming at you next. After that is going to be crazy. So appreciate everybody tapping in. Trap more gang. I might do some more stuff on this channel if I can be bothered. Otherwise, I'll be cooking up a whole bunch of madness on the main channel. It's your boy, your #1 journalist. Bow. I'm out. Peace. Gang.